After several months of searching, Milford High School finally found their man to fill the role of the athletic director position on a permanent basis. Peter Boucher was officially named to the position last week and has already begun to immerse himself in his new role. I invited Mr. Boucher to our studio earlier this week to discuss a range of topics, from his previous experience to his goals moving forward for the Milford athletic program. Here is the story. Well, here on the Milford Informer, we're happy to be joined by a special guest on the show this week, newly appointed athletic director Peter Boucher here in studio. Peter, thanks so much for joining us, and congratulations on the position.
Thank you so much. Absolutely my pleasure to be here. Super excited to start this job. Didn't want to be anywhere else. This is great. Love it.
So I hear you've gotten fully immersed in Milford High School and the Milford athletic culture already. What's sort of these last few days, this last week been like for you?
Good question. Really busy. It's been super busy, but this is exactly what I was hoping for. You know, a ferocious sports town that wants to support, you know, championship expectations, already has championship expectations. It's been busy. You know, I'm still transitioning from my job in Canton, but any time in Milford right now is a great time, so I'm having a blast.
Now, you bring a ton of experience from a lot of different areas to the table for this position. Your most recent job in Canton, you were a principal within their school district there. At what point did you feel like you wanted to make that transition from an administrator to an athletic director position?
Great question. In all honesty, my entire life has been spent in wellness and athletics. As I mentioned in the interview, the last 4 years being the principal of an elementary school are the only 4 years that I've not been either coaching a team or been in charge of an entire athletic department. So it was, although my resume might look like, oh, you know, he's been a principal for a long time, it's only really been the last 3.5 years. I think I started to know the second year of being a principal that I wanted to move back into athletics. My superintendent came to me and said, you know, I'd like you to maybe consider working in this elementary school. They could use a little bit of the Pete Boucher energy and rah-rah, and you know, that's me. It's all or nothing. I bring it all to the table, or I got to sit back. There's really no in between. So, yeah, I think I knew about 2 years ago that I was doing what I needed to do. We improved the school. We went from level 3 to level 2 to level 1 as far as MCAS goes. We really sort of regenerated the pride in this school and brought everything together. But for me, you know, I want to be around athletics and wellness, and I waited very patiently for the right opportunity, and Milford had the things that I was looking for, especially.
And looking at some of your other experience, this isn't your first time in an athletic director role. You've had that experience in a number of different capacities. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes. So I was at King Philip for 15 years. I'm a graduate of King Philip. You know, obviously did a bunch of sports for them. And during my 15 years of coaching and teaching, there were 2 occasions where we sort of needed an interim athletic director. I was coaching 3 seasons, but at that point, you know, I was young, single, didn't mind. That's really what I wanted to do. I was happy to jump in. On both occasions, I was asked if I would take the job on full time. And at that time, my track and field and cross country program, we were in the upper echelon of New England, not just the league and Massachusetts. And I just didn't want to turn my back on the kids. So that was probably my first experience. Had a great time there. I went down to Florida, was a middle school athletic director. And I'm sure you know a little bit about the South. Everything down there is serious when it comes, I mean, 5th grade is serious when it comes to athletics. Sure. So, you know, that was a great experience. I was lucky enough to get a teaching award down there as far as wellness goes. And the local community college recruited me to be their director of athletics and wellness. That worked out great until I decided, you know, we wanted to come home. My wife and I decided we wanted to have a family. You know, we had traveled to Florida for family reasons. We had a sick relative, and we decided we needed to go down and help my mother-in-law in one of her battles with cancer. And then she got a clean bill of health, and baby was on the way, and I said, time to go. Let's go back up to New England, and that's where we both wanted to be. So.
I was lucky enough to have a conversation with Nick Zakili, who's been serving as the interim athletic director.
Nick is a legend. He's a great guy.
He sure is. And one of the things that he said to me earlier this school year was that this role of athletic director has really evolved over the years, and that nowadays there are so many sports going on for both boys and girls athletics. There's so many teams. There's so many student athletes that this role of athletic director is really, there's more to it now than ever before. Is that how you feel?
Oh, without a doubt. I think, you know, education in Massachusetts and New England has evolved in the last 5 years tremendously. I've been able to see that as a wellness director, K-12, and then as a principal. I would have to say that probably the three most complex jobs in an educational system would be your superintendent, your principal, and your athletic director. The three of those folks really need to be prepared to live at the school, probably 6 days a week, sometimes 7. And there are so many expectations, there's so many nuances to those three jobs, and the assistant principal too. But those three leadership positions, the superintendent, the principal, and the athletic director, that, when you say full-time, you're looking at 60, 70, 80 hours a week, and somebody needs to be prepared to handle the paperwork. You want to work with children, you want to work with families, you want to work with your communities, you want to work with your businesses, all wrapped around, what I'm going to be focusing on is championship expectations. That's whether it's character, whether it's attitude, whether it's, on the field, as always, championship competition. But I think being an athletic director is tremendously complicated, but I feel like as a principal, wellness director, former AD, not only am I prepared, but this is what I want to do.
And it seems as though, add in the fact that you have a pretty solid resume as a high school and collegiate athlete yourself. On top of the coaching, on top of the administrative experience, it really seems as though it makes you uniquely qualified to handle all of the demands of this job.
Thank you. I mean, I feel that way. I'm glad you're saying it. It's humbling to hear you say that. I was lucky enough to be on 1 or 2 championship teams in high school. We worked really hard to get there because as a freshman, we weren't doing so hot. But again, it's that attitude. It's building. I was lucky enough to compete in college all 4 years, cross country, track and field. Was lucky enough to be captain, junior and senior year in high school and college. And then, I was very fortunate to go back to my alma mater and continue that excellence. And I don't know if it's 20 or 21 Hockomock League championships, and 7 state championships. So for me, chasing championships it's a curse and a gift. I don't know how to do it any other way. I can't turn it off, so I might as well just throw some gasoline on the fire and just start to really encourage that with an entire program again. That's really how I feel. So thank you for saying that. I appreciate the compliment.
And certainly to have championship expectations in a league like the Hockomock League, and again, this is experience that's, I'm sure, valuable for you at this point. You've worked in Canton, you have King Philip experience, two Hockomock League schools. The competition in all sports at all times of the year is extremely high in this division, in this conference, and that's something that you already know intimately well.
Agreed. One of the things there were 3 things that really brought me to Milford. One was geographical. Right now I drive an hour to my job. Milford is 18 minutes door to door from my home in Blackstone, so that was perfect. That's why I waited patiently. I wanted something close. I wanted to be in the Hockomock League. For me, I'd rather be a big fish in a big pond. I don't really want to be a little fish in a little pond. It's just the way I've always been. I can't turn that off either. So I wanted to be in the Hockomock League, and then that ferocious sports attitude that is here in Milford already. My plan is to just continue to help Milford transition into the Hockomock League. There is no subpar sport in the Hockomock League. It's like the NFL. Anybody can knock anybody off on any given Sunday. It doesn't matter what the record is in the Hockomock League or what the sport is. I mean, I've lived it. I competed in just about everything. I've coached almost everything between Canton and King Philip. If you don't practice really hard every single day, if you're not preparing your body and your mind every single day, and if you are not rested and prepared for whatever competition you have that week in the Hockomock League, it's not going to go well. So those are the things we're going to focus on, is making sure that we're organized, we're prepared, and we are ready on every possible level as a human being, as an athlete, and then as a team.
Excellent, excellent. Again, we're talking to Peter Boucher, the newly appointed athletic director for the Milford schools. You have a couple of resources at your disposal as you continue to make this transition. Not only Nick Zakili, who has that position on an interim basis right now, but also Rich Pierre Gustavo, who held the position for a number of years before transitioning to an administrative role. Do you guys already sort of have a plan in place to really ease your transition now into that role?
Yeah. They have been tremendous. Rich was great. I've met with Rich on numerous occasions talking about how he ran the program. As I was saying before, Nick is he's a legendary athletic director, and he's a legendary man. I knew of him when I was at King Philip, and I had heard great things about him, and he's done nothing short of making those his presence well known. He's just a great guy. And what I really like about both of them is there's no egos involved right now. They want a guy who's, or a gal, I happen to be a guy, for this, to win the position. They want somebody to come in and continue to climb in the Hockomock League. Milford's a great sports town. It's just getting used to the rigors of everyday competition, everyday practice, to be at that upper echelon in the Hockomock League. They've been wonderful. Principal Carrie Banach has been wonderful. I mean, call me on Sunday, get me set up, whatever you need is what I hear, and she's living that. I'm texting her, I'm calling her, I'm emailing. Superintendent Tremblay has been amazing. Just everybody's reached out. The boosters have already checked in with me on multiple occasions asking, what do you need? Where do you want to go? What's your vision? You know, again, it just further cements my decision to come to Milford and hopefully their decision to choose me. So I can't get more excited. It's just great. I'm looking forward to it.
Have you had a chance to meet with any of the athletes or the parents yet?
Yes. On trickling here and there. I was lucky enough to host. Milford hosted a volleyball game the other night, so I met some of the volleyball players. Some of the kids came in to watch the game, just to chit chat here and there. I spent the last couple of Thursdays. I'm trying to do a split with Canton so I can come and spend some time. The athletes have just been wonderful. I think it's it speaks volumes to how they behave already and their attitudes. It's great. The football game, tremendous this Friday night against Stoughton. Big W for the Scarlet Hawks. I was on the sidelines. Again, I want to watch and see how they behave. They acted like they've been there before, which is how you have to behave in the Hockomock League. They were leading the whole game. They get down in the fourth quarter. Nobody's panicking. The coaches aren't panicking. The kids aren't panicking. They know that they can win the game. And it was just great to go out and chat with them a little bit after the game and just congratulate them. Everybody's down to earth, which I love. It's the championship expectations are there. We just got to, kick it up. Keep pushing it forward.
That's great. And it seems like you already have a lot of ideas that you're already working on that you're hoping to implement once you're actually on the job on a full-time basis.
True, very true.
And now when is that date that you'll officially be in the position?
It looks like December 1st. Right now I'm negotiating with Canton to try and sort of an exit strategy. They're looking for an interim principal. That looks pretty good. I'm hoping that they name somebody this week. I will work with them next week, and then maybe in the mornings or afternoons thereafter I'll be on speed dial. I said I still really have some allegiance to Canton. They were wonderful to me, and I just decided that I wanted. There's no ill will. I decided this is what I wanted to do, and Milford was the place that I wanted to be. So I'm looking at December 1st for being 101% ready to go.
Great. And finally, one of the things you did an interview last week with our good friends from the Town Crier. Well, one of the comments that you made that I was particularly interested in was you talked about how you want the Milford athletic program to have a relentless pursuit of excellence.
Yes.
And that seems like that's a mantra that can easily carry over from the athletic field to the classroom to real life applications. Is that sort of your philosophy?
That's an amazing way to look at it, because that's what I've done as a coach. That's what I've done as an athletic director before, and that's what I did in Canton to help sort of the elementary school elevate to level 1 status in MCAS. I have 3 basic rules with the overarching goal. Everything comes back to relentless pursuit of excellence. Whether it's, certainly it starts with academics. You have to be eligible to play. I want kids thinking about going to college or moving on, whatever, whether it's a vocational, technical school, whatever. I want them pursuing excellence academically so that they're prepared to move on with life. I want them pursuing excellence certainly with their sports. What does that mean? That means that they're preparing for practice every day. They get to bed at a decent hour. They have breakfast in the morning. Mentally, some people might get intimidated by certain schools. My attitude is going to be, I wish the game started at 3. If the game starts at 5, I want to talk to people about you want to have that assertive, aggressive attitude appropriately. But yeah, it's everything we do is going to come back to this foundation of excellence, everything. And whether that's, I talk about championship sportsmanship, being a good character. Even if the team you're playing isn't making great decisions, I expect Milford to do exactly that and just sort of display that championship character that we're going to be looking for at every turn. It's all going to come back to this foundation of championship expectations and the relentless pursuit of excellence. That'll be coming out on T-shirts real soon. So.
Well, that's certainly something to look forward to, and it's clear that the athletic program is going to be in very good hands moving forward.
Thank you.
And we're excited to have you here, and we'll be excited to talk to you here on The Informer in the future. But
absolutely,
in the meantime,
I'm looking forward to it.
Peter Boucher, again, newly appointed athletic director for the Milford Schools. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to chat with you.